Good?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, good. Well, it was good to get our first practice in. It's been a long winter. The kids have been working extremely hard. A lot of runs and a lot of work put in to get to this point to where we can get into this indoor facility. It was a great opportunity for us to kick off spring practice and a wonderful opportunity for the kids to go out there and run around. Now, we didn't have an opportunity to have any pads on because first two practice will be no pads, just helmets and jerseys. But I thought the kids did a nice job running around. I thought it was a good, clean, crisp practice. I like the enthusiasm. And, without having the pads on, you kind of look at the skill kids a little bit more than you do the kids up front. And guys like Alvin Cornelius made some very good catches. Steve Ishmael, Oliver Vigil had 2 interceptions today, which was good to see for Ollie. And I felt, all in all, it was a good day one spring practice. Any questions?
What are the biggest things that you can take away? I know you mentioned some of the guys, but what are the big notes that you take from day one?
Well, not a ton of big notes. The thing I always talk about is having a great mode of operation, understanding how important it is to set the tone day one with doing the things that we can control really well and coming in and out of the huddles, on and off the football field, practice organization. Our managers, they did a great job today. They were on point. We were in huddle situations today, and we finished the practice early, which was a good sign. And I thought it was a well-run practice by the coaches, and I thought the mode of operation was good for a day one practice with some new terminology, some new sets and formations offensively. I thought all in all pretty good.
How about Terrell? Could you just kind of give us an update on him?
Sure. Terrell practiced full go. Did some good things. Ball came out of his hand real well today. Made some nice tight throws. Trey Dunkelberger made 3 or 4 catches today, which was good to see. Nice deep ball on a wheel route Terrell threw. So all in all, I thought it was a good day. It was good to see him back in the huddle.
How's his confidence, right now?
He's good. I thought he did a good job. Each day, we'll give him more looks defensively and give the offense more looks defensively, which will, force feed them to improve with more defense on the field. Day one was pretty much base defense, a couple of pressures, a couple of corner pressures just to get them in. But for the most part, it was a pretty bland day with what they'll see on the other side.
Aside from Irv Phillips, was the big move anyone else?
Well, offensively, you'll see a lot of guys that are playing in the interior, the tight end positions and the H-back, or the super back position, which is where Irv's playing, where Ashton's playing. They can be lined up in a lot of different places. They can be lined up in the slot, as you mentioned. They can be lined up, in the slot. They can line up in a wing. They can line up in the backfield. They can motion to the backfield, run the ball. They can motion out and catch the ball. Forcing some isolation on, linebacker, outside linebacker matchups, that sort of thing. And I thought both Ashton and Irv did a nice job inside today.
How about defensively, safety?
Well, we got a lot of guys. Antoine Cordy is the one guy that will learn both corner and safety right now. But for the most part, it's just the guys that are coming back. Rodney Williams did some good things today. I thought Chauncey Sissom looked like he had confidence and was making calls quick. And he's a bright young man. I thought he did a nice job. But, really Cordy will really be the only one that's a swing guy right now.
Considering how last season ended, you guys just chomping at the bit to get back and finally just erase what happened last fall.
Sure. Players and coaches alike we're extremely excited to get back out there, anxious to put the pads back on Thursday. Anytime you're in a situation where you don't get that bowl game, you're really anxious to get back on the field. And like I said, players, coaches alike were excited. Managers did a great job. Good day one practice.
What does having Jake Moreland coaching the tackles and the tight ends allow you guys to do? How does that change the offensive line?
Well, it doesn't change a ton, other than the fact that when the tackles and tight ends are working together in pod groups, you're real familiar with the guy. And they had a good day, did a lot of pod work. Really, the practice was 2 pass skeleton situations, 2 team period situations where we were just fitting up, and then a lot of individual and a lot of kicking work with punt team, the field goal, and the field goal block team.
Was tackle tight end communication ever an issue for you guys in the past?
No.
Okay.
Who are you going to look at this spring at the center and
We're gonna bounce guys around. I think offensive line, as you know, unfortunately last year we really learned on the run. You have interior guys and you have outside guys. You'd like to have those guys working more that way. But really, for the most part, we'll have all the centers and guards working center guard positions, and then the tackles need to be able to flip-flop. And then there'll be instances where, like, Amari needs to be able to play for both guard and tackle, which last year he did by injury. So having everybody back gives us that luxury of trying to narrow in on specific techniques at positions. But there'll be some movement. And, you know, I don't like to put depth charts out there early. I like to just let them compete. And from day one to day two, you could have different guys at different positions, or at least in the depth chart, one goes to two, two goes to three, whatever. And I think that's a healthy way to have competition.
You're gonna at least look out for network.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I won't be ready to play left or right tackle.
Other questions, Coach? I thought it was interesting. I saw when you talked to Andrea Addison on ESPN that you mentioned Ashton, just as you did now, being able to play in the backfield.
Yeah.
He hasn't run it a ton these last couple of years. Do you think that's something that we could see this year?
Yeah, it will. I think that H-back position is a position that can do a number of things, including run the ball. And it's not just running the ball in a sideways manner. You know, you can put it in the backfield with depth and run them downhill. You can slam release them and wham release them across the formation and run play action passes to create misdirection and get them in the flat, hopefully against a linebacker. And then you can break the box with those types of guys and run your down the field routes as well as your matchups underneath against the outside linebackers and sometimes strong safety. So I think it gives us a luxury of taking two very good athletes and giving them an opportunity to do a lot of different things in the offense. And that's that multiplicity that Coach Lester will be talking a lot about.
I know at this point Ashton's played pretty much everywhere you can besides on the line offensively. How have you seen him adapt to it, and is there anything about this role that you think fits him?
I think Ashton's done a good job. You know, he's got good competition there too. I think Irv does some things that are unique as well. But you know, he's a good football player. Unfortunately, he got banged up last year, just really playing in I think 4 games. That's all he got to play. So both Ashton and Brisley, good to see them out there. Although I will say this, I mentioned earlier, Alvin Cornelius had a really good day. Steve Ishmael had a good day. Custis caught a deep ball, very good pass and catch. So I think we have good competition at those positions and the luxury of moving them around and not pigeonholing those guys at one position.
Any guys being held out?
No, not right now. I mean, for the most part, we had a full roster. A couple guys that were easing back into things. Rodney Williams is back, but we eased him into things. So if we had a 5-minute individual period, maybe he'd get 3 minutes worth of work each period. So really his practice was probably half to 3/4 of the practice. But he got some teamwork in, some skelly work, and he looked good out there.
You mentioned the 6 a.m. round.
Yeah.
Showed the most progress in the time.
I think more than any individual in the 6 a.m. runs, it was more group emphasis. What we did that was a little bit different. What we do in our morning workouts is we do a lot of station work, where you know, anywhere from 12 to 18 guys are in a group, and you rotate, you blow the horns, and there's all these different stations that we work on. A lot of it is technique specific, but a lot of it is mental toughness that we're working on. We had some guys build these big old monkey bars that we grew up on, and we did a lot of competition. The thing I wanted to do is, rather than a coach run a station and see all the kids come through on the team, I had the coaches move from station to station, offensive line against defensive line, in all of those stations. So for 8 stations, there was a winner, there was a loser group, including the coaches, and it forced competition. I think it forced us to get to know our kids even better. It forced, a sense of consequence if you didn't win, and a sense of enthusiasm when you did win. And I thought it was one of the better morning programs that I've been a part of for 24 years.
Where'd that idea come
We just made it up.
Any word back for Luke's 6th year?
Not yet. They just keep telling me that it looks really good and that it's paperwork more than anything else. And we're playing Luke on the defensive line, defensive end, and he ran around out there and overheard Coach Douse jogging down with Mike Govio saying, boy, it's amazing what a great athlete a linebacker looks like when you move him down the D end. And so it must look pretty good. I'm looking forward to getting in there and seeing how he looked on tape.
Anything else for Coach?
Yeah, there's a chance we're going to talk to you since you guys signed Ted Taylor. How do you think he fits in I know he won't be here till the summer, but fits into the defense, and how do you see him maybe being able to contribute off of that?
Right. Well, he comes from a very good program. Dwyer High School, Jack Daniels has done a great job with so many kids over the years. Right, Julian's High School. He's an outside linebacker that can play in space. That's what we liked about him. At the end of the recruiting process, we didn't want to just take, fill those numbers up with anyone. We want to take the best players available. We were hoping we could find an outside linebacker, and that's what we did with Ted. He's got good skill sets. He's a real long-arm guy. He's grown since he was in high school, and I think both on and off the field, and gives us a young man that can play out in space over a slot. And he's a pretty good blitzer too, and he loves to hit. So excited about him and Contreras being the last two guys that we signed. And I think we have two very good football players, but I also think we have two quality, character, individual type people that fit into our framework.
Do you think that kind of skill set that Ted has is maybe unique to the group of backgrounds you have?
No, I think we have some good skill guys. I really do. I think they're just young. I think defensively we'll be young this year. Obviously, we lost some good football players. Cam Lynch and Dyshon Davis, two guys that started for 3.5 years, both of them playing a lot of football. And some of these young guys are going to have to come in and fight and see who gets to line up on day one. So a lot of rotation today at the linebacker position. A lot of people on and off the field, which is good. That young, healthy competition is just what you want. Guys eager to find their way on the field because there's not a pecking order at that linebacker position. Zaire lined up in the middle. Marquise Hobbs lined up right at the boundary, which was good to see him there today. And he moved around really well. I was always anxious to see how he was going to move first day. I saw him coming off the practice field. He didn't feel like he did as well as we wanted to, but I was happy with the way he played that position today, day one. Zaire took charge in the middle as he did at the end of the season. Now it's that outside linebacker to the field position. It's going to be up for grabs. I thought both Paris Bennett and JT did a nice job for their first day. They let a couple routes inside of them. They got to wall off a little bit better. But you like that young, eager competition. No different than when I was a defensive coordinator watching Dyshon and Cam get on the field for the first time. There was a lot of high energy, and their mistakes were being made at 110 miles an hour, which you kind of like to see. And they were both very competitive on and off the field. So it'll be interesting to see how that position plays out. I think Ted brings a third guy to the fight.
Darrell going tomorrow at the combine. How do you think he'll do? And have you talked to him?
I talked to him maybe a week and a half back. Text back and forth, and I know he was anxious to get started. I talked to a couple scouts in the NFL that were excited about working with him here the next couple of days. And I think he'll do really well. He's got great ball skills. He's got good footwork, and I'll be interested to see how it all goes.
Coach, I apologize. I'm sure these guys already asked you all this, but first day, this facility, first day of spring ball. It's just got to feel awesome to be out here.
It really does. I'd like to go see Cliff Hensley and Vic Thompson and Gene and thank them again because it was a great opportunity for us to get out there and take advantage of this facility. Practice went well. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, I thought it was well organized, and it was just nice to not have to worry about those walls come and get you so fast, compared to Manly. Those walls sneak up on you sometimes, and it's hard as a coach. So we didn't have to worry about logistical movement as much as we did when we were in Manly. So for the first part, it was a good first day practice, and I was pleased with the tempo and the mode of operation for a day one practice without pads on.
Yeah, no, I see. It's just obviously the incredible amount of injuries last year. How nice was to get, I assume, everybody out here, especially a guy like Terrell is going to come back for his last season.
Great. It was great to see all those faces out there breaking the huddle, and I think they were more anxious than the coaches to get on the field again and actually play football. They've been in that rehab room and that treatment room, far too many days, and it was good to see them on the grass.
Thanks so much, Coach.
You got it.
Anything else, guys? Last question for Coach? Okay.